It's that time again to shatter all of your hopes and dreams of going abroad to find your perfect woman, unlike the XXs in America and other womanist-infested countries. Let me be honest with you hopium addicts, the women overseas aren't that better. Most of them just don't have the government in their back pockets, so they'll act more feminine and submissive towards men who have what they want. Think about it like this: if you lived in a poor country where there weren't opportunities around the corner, wages were super low, you could not depend on the government for assistance, and it was very difficult to make it on your own, wouldn't you do whatever you needed to do to survive? Then let's say you saw a foreign woman who you could use to get out of your situation and into a better life. Wouldn't you show that person your best qualities and go above and beyond so you wouldn't lose that person's interest to somebody else? I know I would, so why do you think women are different? Stop for a moment and think, are the women overseas much better than those in your country? If that's the case, why do they switch up when you bring them over to your country and become similar to the women you were trying to avoid? That's the million-dollar question right there. Why do you have to leave them in their country so you don't take a fat L? I know why, because they're women at the end of the day, and female nature is female nature, regardless of where you go. So in my opinion, no women are better than others. It all boils down to the society, culture, and family structure in that country, and whether or not it promotes women to be loyal, submissive, and feminine. You goofy hope strategists always seem to forget that social media exists worldwide, and these young women are being indoctrinated by Western culture and ideologies. So even if you travel to another country, they are already Americanized or, let's say, Westernized more likely than not. In many countries that I see you guys and the passport bros flocking to, a lot of the women in those countries are garden tools and single mammies. There's no way you can tell me that the garden tools and single mammies over there are better than the 304s and single mammies in America. We have to come to an agreement and realize that it's not all that it's cracked up to be overseas. I will admit that you'll get better treatment over there simply because of your status as an American or someone from a first world country. That's probably going to happen to many of you guys, but remember, they're only doing it because you're a juicy, high-value target in their eyes, and you're their lottery ticket out of poverty or their country. They're not going to treat you guys better out of the kindness of their heart because, highly likely, they're not treating the poor or average men over there like royalty and king of kings. Am I making sense, or you're too slow? Think about it like this: when most of you land in these countries and go to the resorts, or you're part of a tour guide, don't the men who want to scam or sell you something treat you with respect? Of course, they do because you have what they want or need: money, you goofy ninja. So what do you think the money chasers and pros are going to do when they know you have way more money than the local men trying to get in their cookie jar? They will treat you well to get in your good graces and hopefully convince you to commit to them or spend on them. This isn't rocket science, but you Americans and Western ninjas are dumb as hell because you lack perspective. Most of you Americans have never experienced true poverty and hopelessness because you were fortunate to be born in one of the richest countries on earth. Most of you don't know what it feels like to not have electricity in your home. Most of you don't know what going days without food is like. Most of you don't know what it's like to live in squalor, and most of you don't know what it's like to not have access to clean running water. Well, the American water supply is toxic, but that's neither here nor there, but you get the point. I know what that's like because I wasn't born in America. I'm from the place where you ninjas come to look for women, so I know the game for what it really is. Many of you don't know that the women you're pedestalizing are using you to hopefully get their green cards and citizenship. You guys think they like you, but they like that they can use you to move to the United States and leave their country for a better lifestyle and opportunities. Most of you sucker for love ninjas never think about XX's financing you guys, but growing up, I overheard women plotting and scheming on how they'll use a foreigner to get their green card, citizenship, name in the will, house, money, and eventually file for their kids to live in those countries. You guys don't know this because you're not poor. You might be broke because you chose to be a debt slave or you're lazy, but you're not poor and desperate like many of those people, especially XXs in countries overseas. So of course, you won't have that in the back of your mind because you've never been exposed to that type of life. This is why I'm here to set you guys straight and tell you the game because I've been in it, and I know that the women overseas are trying to use you guys for a better lifestyle. This is most women, by the way, so chances are when you travel overseas searching for love, the women you're going to meet want to swindle you guys to get what they want. If you guys think that was bad, wait until I start diving deeper to expose what these people really do to take advantage of hope strategists. Many of you guys don't know this, but some of the women you mess with are married to a husband and have kids. Yes, we're going down that route because many of them won't tell you because their family depends on the money that you send from abroad to support themselves. And often, the husband knows or encourages their wife to give you guys access in hopes that you'll continue supporting their family with barrels of goods and occasional wire transfers. You guys thought that was it. It gets worse. In some cases, the wife will marry a foreigner and move to their country to live with them while they're still married to their husband in their home country. Then what they do is support their husband and kids on your dime without you knowing. Let's go even deeper because I'm about to prove how dumb it is to travel overseas for love. I'm not saying you must not go overseas to find your wife, I'm just letting you know it's dumb. Many of you guys have messed with women overseas and they introduced you to the family. Now what you don't know is that one of their male family members, which will probably be a brother, is actually their husband. Yeah, so while you might think the brother and sister are close, you just don't realize that's her husband who is allowing you to munch on his wife's cookie so she can get a better life for their family. The men who move to those countries will typically fall victim to this scheme. Sometimes the family will move in on you guys and the so-called brother, who is the husband, is servicing his wife or who you guys think is the sister, who is now your wife while you're both happily married. It gets really bad in many of these countries, but you won't know unless someone like me tells you the truth. Moving on, we need to discuss the fact that the women you guys encounter and form relationships with overseas do the same thing with other foreigners after you've left the country. You guys don't want to talk about this, but I'm going there. See, many of you guys hop on planes and think you'll land in these countries and find a woman that will love you and you alone. But reality is often cruel, and you don't know if you're one of many. Yet, Ninja, she's ours, not yours. The moment you leave to return to the States or wherever you live, another foreigner will have her cookie leaking. While you're texting her, doing video calls, and setting up your next trip to visit her, another man has her 10 toes up, and he's probably paying to get the cookie too. Am I giving too much truth? If you hopium ninjas can't handle it, let me know. I know women who had multiple foreigners booked all year round and were getting money regularly. So if you guys think that these XXs overseas are pure and innocent, you have another thing coming. I actually knew a woman who used to con foreigners to get them to support their lifestyle and pay their college tuition. One of the girls used the money she got from these men to put 2 taxis on the road to generate income, so she was smart as hell in my opinion. I know other women who dated multiple foreigners and ended up building a room at their parents' house, and a few of them built a tiny house using the money they got from you buffoons. Those were the smart women. The majority of them pissed away the money and ended up broke when they didn't get to marry any of these men and spent the money they got buying useless stuff. And to be fair, a lot of the women you guys meet overseas are actually pros, and they do business with many foreigners to patch their way through life. So while you guys think you got a good woman, all you got was a pro who's been doing it for a very long time. I hope you guys realize that overseas is just as bad but better in some instances than the country you're running from. Most men who go overseas looking for love just get swindled and used, and that's the reality. If you guys think I'm lying, talk to men who travel overseas looking for wives and hear their stories. I'm sure some of them will find temporary success and make it seem like it's the best thing since sliced bread. But what you want to hear is the stories of the men who tried it and got scammed, swindled, used, taken advantage of, and divorce raped by XXs overseas. I guarantee you that you'll find more men who lost trying to find love overseas than men who are currently winning. I know this for a fact, but if you don't believe me, do your own due diligence or go overseas to see if you can find yourself a good woman. I guarantee you that you'll probably find a chameleon or a good actress before you find a good woman, mark my word. On the screen is a video I recommend you guys watch to learn how deep the rabbit hole goes. So click it right now if you want to know the truth.